All right, welcome everybody to this week's edition of the Business Owners Mastermind Group Call. This is the first Monday, or first Thursday, I guess I'm behind a little bit, of the week. And so the nice thing is it's March, and there's 23 business days in March. There's 5 Thursdays. So on the last Thursday of this month, we will be doing a webinar. And so if you're watching this recording and you are interested in being a speaker at that last event, we talk about 4 things: marketing, sales, operations administration, and service delivery. And so today, it's the first Thursday of the month, so we're going to talk about marketing. And we got a good group of people here. Alan, in my opinion, is an unbelievable idea guy, marketing guy. He's done a wonderful job for the last 24 years of branding a couple of different companies, and we're going to definitely leverage that experience today. And so what is marketing? Well, marketing in its purest form is about getting attention. So if you have an idea and you want to go out and figure out if it's the best thing for the market, you got to get attention. So without attention, you don't really have an audience. And so how do you go about getting attention? Well, you can put up an ad, you can put up a Facebook ad, you can put up a website, you can do all this stuff, but if you don't have a story to tell, it's probably going to be boring, right? And so a couple of things, and I'm just going to do a crash course real quick on where you can get started in marketing, and then I'm going to solicit some feedback from Alan and Carrie, and then we're going to open it up for live Q&A. It all starts with telling your story. So you got to figure out what your story is. Who are you? You know, that would be a good way to start. Who are you? Who am I? And so, you know, just get a sheet of paper out and put who am I on that sheet and start listing it out. You know, I'm a husband. I'm a coach. I'm a business owner. I'm a father. I'm a marketing guy. I'm a mentor. I'm a coach. I'm a speaker. I'm a dog owner. You know, you start listing out all the different areas of the things. Here's the different roles I play in life. I'm a chess player. I'm a golfer. Whatever that is for you, it is for you. Number 2 is, what have you done? You know, what have you done in life? Well, I mean, I've been in sales. I've been a tech, computer tech. I was in the military. I spoken on stage in front of thousands of people. I've become a certified master sales trainer. Built several companies. I've had companies that have failed. I've been on TV shows, radio shows. I've spoken on stage in front of a bunch of people. I mean, what are the things in your life that you have done that add value to that story? What are your accomplishments? The next thing, you know, what have you accomplished in life? Maybe you raised two kids successfully. Maybe you built a company. Maybe you broke 80 in golf. You know, what are the things in life that you have accomplished? You want to start making a laundry list of those things. Those are all going to be a part of your story. What are some of the successes that you've had? You know, maybe you got straight A's in high school. Maybe you got, you know, a great college GPA. Maybe you hired some people. Maybe you sold a company. Maybe you built a company like Alan has over the last 24 years, Mouse Calls. Mouse Calls got lots and lots of happy, satisfied customers, and he's starting a new company. Maybe you sold a company. Maybe you built several companies. Maybe you've helped a lot of people. Maybe you've been the biggest donor at your church. I mean, what are the successes that you've had in life? And then nothing sells better than a failure story. What are the things that you have failed at? I dropped out of high school. I was a drug addict. Those are all a part of my stories. You know, they're different failures in life. I had a business partnership that completely fell apart. I was divorced. You know, I'm being very transparent because I'm very secure with myself. You know, you want to have a list of things that people can identify and relate with when you're telling your story. What are some of the losses that you've had? Those are all a part of your story as well. Maybe you lost, like in my case, I lost a sister at 40 years old. Just reconnected with her son yesterday because I accidentally butt dialed him, and we started talking, and come to find out the dude's got 6 kids now. I didn't even know that I had an additional 4 nephews out there, nephews and nieces. But maybe you lost a business, maybe you lost employees. Whatever that is, what are the losses that you have? Those all make up who you are. You want to figure out, okay, what is the story I'm going to tell? So I'll give you an example. I've been speaking now for 27 years, and it hasn't been until 2012 have I really crafted that story. So a good talk is going to be intro, outcomes, chunk 1, chunk 2, chunk 3, call to action. That is a 45-minute talk. Jim Rohn created that model back in the day, taught it to Tony Robbins. Tony taught it to Eric Lofholm. Eric Lofholm taught it to me. But when any speech you ever see, if you go onto my YouTube channel, you'll see it starts out with an intro. And I always start out with, I was born at a very early age, dropped out of high school when I was 17, was drug addict, living on the streets of East Oakland, got a mentor, started my first business when I was 20, went on to build several businesses after that, ended up in the center of the Sacramento Business Journal, and been married, got kids. And so I start off my talks like that. That's my story, right? And the reason I want to tell my story is because it's relatable to the audience. So I want to be able to have different stories to tell. So I'll give you the example of a powerful use of a story and how stories suspend time. So if you guys don't remember the original episode of Star Wars, which I think was like episode 4, right? So they started with episode 4 in 1977, I believe. And there's a scene where they land on the Death Star, and they're looking for Princess Leia, or they land on the battleship, and they're looking for Princess Leia. And R2-D2 and C-3PO are in the control room. They finally find the princess. And so the next scene that you see is they go there, they find the princess, the door opens, everything is great, and then they get ready to leave, and all of a sudden there's a battle. They're getting shot at, and they're shooting back, and oh my God, it's chaos! Oh my God! Next thing you know, they shoot a hole in the wall, and they jump into the garbage bin, and everything is peaceful again. Then what happens? Well, the walls start. The serpent starts roaming around, and they're like, "There's something in here. We're not alone." Next thing you know, Luke gets grabbed. He gets pulled under, and oh my God, we're in chaos again. Everything is terrible. And then Luke finally gets released, and the serpent exits the room, and they're like, "Okay, we're in peace again." Next thing you know, the wall starts coming in, and they're trying to brace it with this thing, and it's chaos. Oh my God, we're gonna die! And you hear C-3PO, "They're gonna die! R2, they're gonna die!" And next thing you know, they're able to stop it, and they get out. Well, if you go back and you play that part, it's only about 4 minutes of the movie. But it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. People get engaged with a really good story. And so when you're marketing and when you're telling a story, there are certain key components that you've got to make sure and communicate in every marketing message that you have. The number one thing is knowing who your target is. If it's a small business owner, if it's a home user, if it's a person in debt, if it's a business that uses computers, whatever it is, whoever your target market is, you want to make sure you're telling the story to that target market. Next thing is, another key component is you want to share, a failure, this problem or this challenge that people have in that space. You can share your own story. You can share a client story. Next thing you want to do is rescue them from the story. You want to have a solution for that story. And then the next good component is what's a call to action. Those are really 4 or 5 key components to a great marketing message, but it all comes down to a story. So once you have all those components, what do you do with it after that? Well, first you make a checklist of all these things, and I would highly recommend you put this all on a piece of paper, and you get a list of all those things in all those different categories. And then you start ask yourself this question: what is it that you do that's valuable? What is it that you do that's valuable to your client? So let's kind of open it up real quick. Alan, you're unmuted. What are the top 5 things that you do that are valuable to your client?
Honestly, without hesitation, number one is peace of mind. And not diverging, but going back to what you said, the entire business model we have now is because of what happened in 2010 with a flood that happened in our, in all over Nashville, but in our community. I have countless stories and case studies still to this day from that. And there was so much carnage as far as businesses that went under or had to start from scratch, lost years worth of accounting data, had no idea what they were going to do as far as payroll, taxes, you name it. I'll finish off my career, honestly, rolling with stories and case studies just from that time period. And by the way, a little self plug, we did not have one client on a service plan that lost any data in that disaster. Anderson Cooper did his show 3 days after that flood, less than a mile from our office, just to give you an idea of what area of ground zero we were in. And so that peace of mind for people for business owners of any size that are operationally mature and understand that every business of any size has to have some kind of technology budget. That's our sweet spot. The other things, people today, especially with the events in the world, they want to make sure that they're secure. They want to make sure that their data is secure, that their networks are secure. We had a client today who reached out who thought that he had been hacked, but we took a real close look at the email that caused him to believe this, and we realized no, he hadn't been hacked. One of his associates had been hacked, and we were able to give him the information he needed to get with that person and say, no, you need to look in your own house. So, at the end of that call, he was like, thank you, Alan. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. You guys do such a good job. And I can go on through the rest of my day. People want to know that they can get a response. This is number 3. People want to know that they can get a response whenever they do need something, or even if they feel that they're in a dire situation or might be, they want an organization or company that's going to respond quickly. You don't want a relationship where that person is over there snapping their fingers like at the waiter, but it's just good business to respond quickly if someone needs you. Number 4, I guess, would be people want a relationship. It's kind of like a good doctor or a good mechanic or a good plumber. You might pay a little bit more, but if you know they're going to get the job done right pretty much every time, that is invaluable. You want somebody that you can just go to and not have to think about it. And then I think number 5, and there's a little bit of self-interest here, but I think that people look for someone who's been doing this for a little bit of time. And I'm not saying 24 years like mouse calls, but I think 5 years can help give a business plenty of street cred. And I'm not trying to shoot down startups at all, because if you're a startup, it's entirely possible that you came out of a background where you were extraordinarily qualified to do what you've been doing, and you're breaking out on your own. We got a lead today for a financial management guy who's breaking away from his firm, and he's opening up a different office. So, it's a combination of things. But like you said, John, one of the biggest things is the story. And I've said this a couple of times on our show. If you have never read the book, Building a Story Brand, do yourself a favor. do yourself a favor. Building a story brand. That is basically where you are creating a narrative around your business that makes it so much more than a business. It communicates that this is your mission in life, and this is why. And maybe, just to give you kind of a little bit of background, nonprofits are great at this, by the way, because it's built into their blood, it's built into their business model. Like the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, for example, we used to support them before they nationalized their IT, at least here in Tennessee. And with those folks, they had 5 statewide offices or whatever. But if you ask somebody, what's the purpose of the MS Society, you probably have a pretty good idea. Hopefully. Special Olympics, the same thing. We used to support the Special Olympics years ago. Alcoholics Anonymous has a phenomenal story brand, and 2 guys sitting at the bar, and basically, it's like, well, here we are again, and we're here because life sucks. And do we keep doing this, or do we make a pact to turn this around and see what happens? That's a phenomenal story. And you can do the exact same thing. You can do the exact same thing for your business. There's a reason that you're here. There's always a reason that you're here. And maybe it might be self-interest. You might be money driven. Maybe you hung out a shingle because you thought you could do it better than the people that you had worked for many years. Maybe there was another catalyst. Maybe there was something else that drove you to go a completely different route. There's a guy who used to be a very successful IT business owner that I knew up in Kentucky. He was out of Lexington and did wonderful, wonderful work, and had built a business to well over $1 million. And one day when he was in his late 30s, he chucked it all. He's like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm burned out. I'm truly burned out on technology, because while 10 years ago it held such an interest to me, it does not anymore. I'm tired of being in front of a screen. And he sold the business, took the proceeds, opened a distillery, and is doing even better at that passion than he ever was with IT. And that's great. That's fine. But again, it's all about crafting why you are what you are, because people are receptive to that. I could go in, with my tech company, I could go into a prospect and I could talk about all the tech tools we're going to use. I could talk about our documentation system and how cool it is that we reboot your servers every week or so, how we're relationship driven, we do quarterly business reviews, how our antivirus is better than blah 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 blah. They don't care. Nobody cares. They just want to be secure. They want the job to be done, and they want to know
Here's
why.
the key if you want to put your clubs in the car.
I'm sorry, John. Well, he was there for a second. Anyway,
I made you the host. Just in case, because I'm in apparently a very low bandwidth area.
No,
if anything happens, then you're in complete control.
We're rocking and rolling. Your audio just broke in, and I didn't know if you had to comment. In any case, that's what people care about. That's what people connect to. They don't like. When's the last time you went to get your car worked on and asked the mechanic what tools he was going to be using to do that? It's the end result that you care about. It is the end result that you care about. And if you can craft a story and you can craft a narrative around that, you're golden. And then you rock and roll with it. And that is your messaging. That is your core. That is your soul. That's what you put out there. So, John, do we have you back?
So an example also of great marketing would be Benjamin or Ben. Let me go ahead and actually, Alan, can you ask him to unmute because you're the host now.
Got it.
All right, there he is. So when Ben and I were talking about his business, Ben does this unbelievable job of restoring the outside of someone's home pretty much to its original state. And so, you know, there's a story to tell there, because one of the things that we were talking about as we were in a conversation is, okay, Mr. Homeowner, remember when you bought this home? It was in the best shape of its life. And remember that feeling that you had when you took possession of those keys and the realtor was there and, you know, you're taking the picture. Remember that feeling that you had when you grabbed those keys and you took possession? Anybody that's ever bought a home knows that feeling, right? The moment you get the keys, you're like, this is mine. Oh my God, this is great, right? Well, he has this unique opportunity to go in several times a year and give them that feeling back. And so people buy that. They don't buy, you know, all how you're going to do it and what you're going to do or anything like that. And so the marketing story that you got to tell is every single time that you do that, right, is you want to tell that story. Okay, that story right there will sell. And that's just marketing. So to kind of bring it all home, it's like, and then I want to open it up for Q&A, is marketing is nothing more than getting attention. So when our children want our attention, they do all kinds of crazy stuff to get our attention. That's marketing. Okay. Now, however you want to get fancy with it is a totally different thing. I'm sure, you know, I'm trying to adjust to Allison's camera here. But at the end of the day, it's about getting attention, and stories and being authentic is the most powerful way to do that.
So Ben, I've got something. I just put it in the chat window for you. And just FYI, when John told me what you did, when he just said what you did, I thought of this immediately. Don't watch this now because it's a YouTube video, but it's a Chevrolet commercial from December, and it's called Holiday Ride. And basically it's about 2 minutes long. It's a sentimental thing where it's a widower who has an old car in a barn, and it's kind of decrepit. And he has obviously, you know, he used to drive his wife in this old Chevy convertible, and his daughter recruits some people to fix it up for him. It's kind of a surprise for Christmas. That is when I watched that right before Christmas, that's the last time that I teared up. Seriously. It touches you, and that's very, very, very similar messaging to what you're bringing to the table. So that watch that and you might get some good ideas out of it.
Yeah, I've seen that commercial before. It's actually a pretty powerful commercial. So it's a good one. So, but I'll definitely watch it again.
Well, you make your own.
Yeah.
Make your own, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So the other thing to understand is marketing is a massive beast. Okay. And because this is a small business owner's mastermind, the one thing I will encourage you, though, if I had to go back and redo all the businesses, I would have mastered marketing. I would have focused on marketing. That would have been the number one area I would have focused on. Not being a great salesperson, not being a great tech or any of that stuff. I would have focused all my energy and attention on marketing. It's probably the biggest mistake I ever made. Having that knowledge now, I get to share that with you guys. And so when you look at your business, is we as business owners, we have to become master marketers. Bill Gates came to market in the late 90s. Novell dominated the server space. Their server product absolutely sucked. Okay, I know, because I told everybody that I had this clients that it sucked. Microsoft will never make it. That's what I said. It will never happen. Their product is inferior. I remember going to San Francisco at the Novell headquarters, and they were walking around strutting like, you know, like they had been IBM all these years, going, this Microsoft thing is nothing. It's going to pass. Next thing you know, they kicked their butt. Why? Because of marketing. So let me just dispel the myth right now. Your product or service doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to be great at marketing, because it's called an update, right? And
But he proved
up
that.
until Steve Jobs died, up until Steve Jobs died, we didn't really have much updates for our Apple products. But now it seems like we got an update once or twice a month, and yet they're the most valuable company on the planet.
You know what, though?
And so you don't have. Go ahead.
I'm going to jump in, though, because let's think about this real quick. In 1976, 1977, you got Steve Jobs in a garage with Steve Wozniak, and they're two total geeks. I mean, geeks like these guys would forget to wear deodorant, geeks. Okay, that's where they were. But you flash forward 20 years later, and Apple's about to die. They're about to croak. And what does Steve Jobs do? You know what? Let's introduce this computer that looks like a fishbowl and put it out there in 6 different pastel colors. That's not geek thinking. That's not computer guy engineer thinking. That's freaking marketing. That's brilliance, and that's what saved the company.
Yep, it's finding out what the market will bite on. And so I'm going to share this quick story, and then I want to open it up to some collaboration here. Is my son Preston, who's now 15, when he was 9 years old, I took him and his best friend David, who he's known since he's 4, up to a place called Apple Hill. And in Apple Hill, there's a place called High Hill Ranch. And in High Hill Ranch, there's this pond that they have, and they stock it full of catfish. And they have fishing poles for rent with the little red and white bobber. So they wanted to go fishing. I go grab the 2 poles, and I said, hey, what kind of bait do you have? And she goes, well, we got the worms, we got the hot dogs, and we got the salami. I'm like, dude, they're fish. Give me the worms. Okay? And so I go down, I put the worms on the hooks, throw them in there. We're waiting. Okay? And next thing you know, this father and son on the other side of the pond, they put something on the hook, and they throw it out, and within about 5 minutes, they catch a fish. Then they catch another fish. Then they catch another fish. I'm like, so finally the dude starts walking towards the shack, because you can't catch and release there. You have to take it to the shack, and they fillet it and charge you $14.99 a pound, which would probably be like $39.99 a pound today for catfish. And so I walk over there, and I just simply ask. You go, hey, what kind of bait are you using? He goes, we're using the hot dogs. I'm like, well, give me the hot dogs. So I go back over, I reel in David's pole, put the hot dog on, throw it out, get Preston's pole. As I'm putting the hot dog on Preston's pole, David gets a fish. Next thing you know, Preston gets a fish. I get set. Now, I dropped out of high school, so I didn't compute very well quickly. But after 7 fish, I'm like, wait, I got to pay for this. So I went up there, and $169 later, it taught me the foundation of marketing. And that is, if I've got a already thriving business, and even if I don't, but let's just say I already have an existing business, which all of us have here, all I've got to do, if I really want to be a stud or a studette at marketing, is I simply need to go ask my customers, hey, if you're in a position to refer me to a friend or colleague, would you refer me? Yeah, great. Let's just say you're talking to that person right now. What would you say? They're going to tell you. And they always get, like I've done hundreds of these surveys. They always give you about 4. On average, about 4. Well, I would say this, and this. Okay, great. What else would you add? They always add about 1 or 2 more. So you'd say this, and this. Yeah, great. Okay. Can I put this in a quote that actually makes sense and send it to you? And would you be okay with me using that in my marketing? They're going to say yes, because they're a client that you like. Well, what you do with that information is you put it in a spreadsheet or on a whiteboard, and you highlight all the common words that they say about you. That gives you the information that you need, the bait that you want to put on your hook when you're throwing it out there into the market. And it will capture more of the clients that you want and less of the clients that you don't want. And that's just a foundational thing. Then you got to tell your story. Hey, nothing sells better than an actual client story. There, you could say, hey, you know what? Like in the case of Ben, we got Joe and Mary Smith. They have this 3,200 square foot home in Yuba City, and they've owned it for 10 years. They wanted to have the outside clean. They wanted to have the gutters clean. They had this moss stuff growing on the roof, and we got rid of all that. And basically, we did our magic on the outside. We made that house look just like it was when they first bought it. And you know what? The look on their face and the comments that they made, which were this, and this, that's why I do what I do. And so if you ever want to have that feeling again, give me a call. I would love to help you get that feeling back. That marketing message would sell because it's got all the components, right? I don't even have to have a fancy website to deliver that message. I could just go Facebook Live on that. I could go, like Rudy is a guy that referred Ben to me. And so one of the things I started telling my client Rudy is like, hey, when you go out and you do these restorations on these bathtubs and the other stuff that you do inside, I want you to whip out your video camera and ask the client, hey, would you mind if I do a video testimonial right here, right now on my cell phone? They said sure. So he asked him a bunch of questions, and she, gave her thoughts, and none of it was perfect. I didn't have a video crew out there with the fancy lighting and the the lapel mics or anything like that. But he's already shared that out to a ton of people and have gotten a bunch of attention. And that's what it's about. It's getting attention. So with that said, Alan, why don't you, everybody looks like they're unmuted except Allison. Anybody else got anything they want to talk about as it relates to marketing? Any questions that you have, any input that you have, any ideas that you're using that works for you?
One of the things I wanted to mention, John, is, Alan, you were talking about being a startup and so forth. Sometimes what you can do is just say, especially if you're working with a team, maybe you've taken a team from somewhere else, or the couple of you have decided, you get to say, I work with a team of people who have been doing this for 20 years or 10 years, what have you, as opposed to, yes, my brand name has only been around for a year and a half, but I work with a team of people who, so it gives you credibility right there to be able to talk about it that way.
Exactly, because I can say that I have been in business for 24 years, but when I can say that I partner with John Pyron, I can now say that we've got 75 years of experience between us. Right, John?
Yeah. It's I was just talking to Pat Walsh, who is one of the top radio show hosts in Northern California here. He's got the evening slot, works for iHeartRadio. And one of the things I didn't know and he didn't know is there's only 2 people on the entire West Coast who actually have a live show where people can call in and ask questions and they're live, and it's Pat Walsh's show and some other dude. And so we were talking about him. He basically said, hey, I created this thing called Pat's Peeps, which you can go to patspeeps.com, and it's a project we've been working on for 6-7 months now, and it's live, and we're focused solely on small business owners. And so he vets them and he endorses them, and they're like, you know what? Let's take this. Let's syndicate you here on the West Coast, and just talk about small business owners and the challenges that they're having. That's marketing. All it's going to do is it's going to get him attention. It's going to get anybody associated with him attention. The only reason I bring this up is this: he's a celebrity. Okay, he's got an audience. Okay, it could be somebody that has an audience of 10,000 people. It could be an audience like him that has 1 million people. Point is if I can befriend or do a joint venture with somebody that has a big audience that will put me on their show or talk about me, that's marketing. I can get their endorsement. Alan's got this in Nashville, where Shield IQ is a company he just started, but now he's got somebody who's putting him on TV and all this other stuff. Well, that's marketing. That's not really going to cost you much at all. It's a third-party endorsement.
And that's been something great. That's something that you could explore. But the radio network that caught our attention is broadcasting commercials right now in Pennsylvania and Florida. If you've got something that is not location dependent, roll with that. I mean, the world is your oyster. If you do have something that is location dependent, then talk to your local media. You know, we work, one of the things that we can do, and I can send this information out to anybody that wants to know, we can create a press release for you that goes directly to your local media. And I'm not talking like a freelancer gig. I'm talking about a media list for, in this case, Sacramento area or whatever, that would go to the news directors of the local radio, the TV. You want them to hear this stuff. And if you put something on their desk that says, hey, I've got a story to tell, let me tell you, they're looking for anything they can find to fill those airwaves in between the major, the major news items of the day, anything at all. Even we've got Russia invading Ukraine, we got war in Europe, and they're still looking for ideas for daytime talk shows in the local media markets. So don't ever stop, never, ever stop.
Marketing is one of those things you got to continue to do over and over and over again. And that is a great segue into one of the best marketing people I actually know personally, and that is my beautiful wife here, Allison Navarez Tyron.
I'm sorry.
So go ahead and unmute yourself, because we can't go anywhere, I swear, anywhere in the continental United States without somebody recognizing her or her recognizing, them. And so tell us about that. Tell us what you do to get attention, because you get a lot of attention. I know you don't want it, but you do.
Don't.
You naturally do this stuff.
Yeah, no, for me, life has been, I've been fortunate enough to get the gift of relationship, the gift of people. And so I have made it very important to really get to know people, to get to know who they are, what drives them, especially about their business, and how I can connect them with someone else that I know. And I enjoy it. I love it. I love promoting people and their business. And so I'm very active on social media. I find it and use it as a way to really just connect people with other people that they may not get to know. And that's what I've learned, that sales, marketing, that's what it's about. It's about relationship. It's about getting to know someone and who they are. And it's not just about making a sale, because you're not going to always be able to make the sale. I know John's probably choking when he hears that, but, but you're not going to always be able to close a deal. But that doesn't mean that you can't help lead that customer to another benefit in their life or in their business. And so then they're going to remember you for that. It's not that you just were only interested in them for a sale. No, what else do you need? What else do you need help with? How can I help connect you with somebody else? And so, so I enjoy people. I enjoy relationships. Get to know who your customers are. Get to know who your audience is. And really just drive that marketing, towards that. It's, I like to think outside the box for people. Once I talk to somebody and I get to know what their business is, I'm able to then think, okay, how can we go after business that somebody doesn't even think about as an option? So, yeah.
That's about thinking about in terms of the audience that person's going after, and what is that audience interested in,
Mm-hmm.
and then just talking to that. It's one of the most simplistic things that I think the whole market makes it so complicated. It's like, hey, how do I get your attention? Well, what are you interested in? And understanding your audience and understanding what they're interested in is the first step to really effective marketing. Because,
Mhm.
go back to the hot dog thing. The catfish was not interested in worms. They can give a crap less about worms. The moment I switched to hot dogs, man, they were all over it. So, if you're watching this recording, the simplicity of literally just assessing and surveying your existing clientele will give you everything that you need to do to have effective marketing in place where you're capturing more of the clients that you want and less of the clients you don't want. If you're just starting out, then think in terms of, okay, if you're trying to market a product or service to that's already out there. Now the key is this is one of the things I heard from Frank Kern is if you have an idea and you want to go to market with that idea, and you do a Google search and there are already other successful companies, man, go for it. Launch it. It's already been proven. You just got to figure out a way to do it better. And if you're like Steve Jobs, where you're bringing something to market nobody else has, then you have to think in terms of the other person. He didn't go, hey, here's this iPod. This is really cool. This thing fits literally in your pocket. Okay, and it's great, and it's got, oh my God, the chip on this thing is unbelievable. Did he say any of that? No. If you go back and watch that keynote he did, he's like, you know what this is? This is 1,000 songs in your pocket. That's all he said. People are like, wow, 1,000. I've had to carry around, now if you're old enough to remember this, I had to carry around the CD case, this freaking tape case, but to carry around 1,000 songs in my pocket, where do I buy? What do I do? And so, that's marketing. Alan, are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, so my internet is not, I'm not seeing you guys. So, so with the time that we have left, what are some of let's go around the room. Let's start with you, Allie. What are the top 3 ideas that you have that people can take action on right away as it relates to marketing?
So one, contact your most recent clients. Ask them what made them get how did they find you? What were they searching for? Who did they contact? That would be the first thing I would do. Go to your past clients and do a little survey. Use social media. I know a lot of people hate it. They're not comfortable with it. It's annoying, whatever you want to say. Join the local neighborhood groups. Wherever you're at, join those local neighborhood groups and go as far out as you want to target. So if you live in Yuba City, then you're going to go figure out how far you want to go. Do you want to go all the way to Chico? Do you want to go, as to Roseville? Figure out what that base is, where your target audience is, and go join those local neighborhood groups, because you will find that most people are asking for services. They're asking for referrals, and they're going to trust who their neighbors use, who the people in their community are recommending, because they've already had the experience with somebody. And so they're going to tell you who not to use, and they're going to tell you who to use and why, whether it's fast, reliable.
Now let me pause you on that one real quick, because I really want you to ad lib on this. I've watched this woman blow this strategy up like no tomorrow. Like, she has people that hire her to do nothing but this. So give us an example of, what you do in a local Facebook group that actually they allow, because you get around all these, you're not allowed to advertise here type thing.
Yeah.
And you figured this out.
So what I would do, whatever your business is, whatever business you're looking for, we'll just say Ben, I don't know how you would target or what you would say you do, but I would just go to a local group and say, hey, I want to refresh my house. I want to make my house look whatever it is that you hear people asking for, and put that question in. and see who they're recommending. Then you're going to know, one, if you have any competition. So that's going to be one thing. And then two, you're going to be able to then know, okay, who are these people using? Who do they not want to use? And do people even know about this service? So it's kind of, you're doing your own survey, but you're having people do the work for you. So, and it's just figuring out what you are allowed and not allowed to say. Cause some groups don't let you, you can't advertise for a business. But I will say, hey, I'm looking for a whatever tax person right now. And people will just load me up with tax people. So then I have an idea, okay, maybe one, are these people looking for business? Could this be a power partner for me? So if you're looking for somebody that you want a power partner with, put that in the chat, put that in the request and go, hey, I'm looking for whatever that business is that you want as a power partner. If you're a mortgage guy, you want a really good real estate agent to partner with. So you're going to go, hey, who's people looking? Who are they using? Who are they recommending? Let the audience help you do the work that you really don't have to do. They'll do it for you.
Awesome. Alan, top, for time's sake, top 2 marketing ideas.
Number one, if you've never checked it out, go to helpareporter.com. That is a service that used to be called HARO, H-A-R-O, Help a Reporter Out. It was founded by Peter Shankman, who is one of the founders of AOL. Basically, it is a clearinghouse where 3 times a day, you can get an email from dozens of different reporters around the country, and they're looking for expert commentary on different areas. They're looking for people, they are actively searching for people to interview. So if you have never done that, and you can go days or weeks without seeing somebody that's looking for a fit, but for your industry, anybody's industry, check it out. They divide the categories, home repair, high tech, you name it. It's all there. Subscribe to that list. It is free. And you can peruse it every day and ideally get some press. I certainly have. Number 2 is, like I mentioned before, be friendly with your local media. Let them know. Don't hesitate. They're just people. They're just people that are on TV. They're people that are on the radio. Reach out to them and say, hey, I'm available to talk about this. And it might be a month, it might be a year, but they will circle around because you've put a bug in their ear that you are the go-to authority in your area. And those are my 2.
Did we lose John?
He's connecting. Oh, I see he's connecting to audio. Oh, he's almost back. We got to get Starlink out there, man. We got to get Starlink for you guys.
So he's at the golf course. I'm actually at home.
Ah.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, he needs to hold a club up in the air. Yeah. Until he gets signal. Something.
Right. Yeah. No, yeah.
He might get a better score.
Well, he hasn't played golf lately, so he's kind of jonesing right now for some golf, but he can't do that quite yet.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. So we got video, but no audio. So while he can't talk, oh dang it!
All right. Now can you hear me? I heard her talking about how I'm jonesing. Yeah, I'm having to sit here and watch this golf course while Preston's out there playing. I can't even play because my back's all screwed up. But I caught the gist of my wife just rubbing it in. That's marketing, by the way.
How are you feeling, Tom? How are you feeling?
Oh, I feel better.
Good. That's good.
Almost died, but
we need our host healthy.
Yeah. Hey, Ben. So top 2 marketing ideas. I mean, you've been in business for a while. You got 2,500 customers. You've done something for marketing, obviously, because you got attention. What would you say?
Yeah. So what's worked for us, what's been our focus for the last couple of years is definitely social media has been huge on the branding side. And like Allison said, the you know, the local group sites. I mean, we put out at least 1 to 2 pieces of content every day, and we flood those local groups. And so, like, you know, a lot of times you'll go on there and, you know, people will ask, you know, well, who does gutter cleaning? We're typically going to be the first ones that they bring up. And it's because we're constantly just flooding that market. The other thing that been working for us too is the Nextdoor app. That's been another big one, because you can strategically hit certain neighborhoods, and so that one's been a big one for us also. The one thing we are wanting to get more involved with, though, it would be the email marketing. So that's something on my list of you know, something that we need to put more effort into is our email marketing. And then one last thing too is getting involved with the community. That's been huge for us because this area up here in Yuba City is a pretty tight niche community. So we get involved with as much stuff as we can, and it's just amazing. You know, we have our truck and trailers wrapped, and you know, people are seeing all that, and you know, we'll get, you know, calls like every day where people just, you know, hey, I saw your guys' truck and trailer, or, you know, I saw you guys at this community event or something like that. So just again, just flooding, you know, the community with your brand. So
If anybody can ever do sponsorship of any kind in your local community, I always say jump on it. If you can sponsor a little league baseball team, if you
Yeah.
can put up a banner, pay for a banner or whatever it is that you can do in your local community,
yeah,
that's where you really need to jump and be involved. John and I are doing that in our new community that we're living in. You know, I've kind of stepped us up and said, hey, no, we're going to the extent of housing a baseball player. We're going to be a host family for a baseball player. So, but it's like you said, Ben, yes, I agree. Be involved in your community, be a face out there, somebody that people can learn to trust, and that they know that they can, you know, they can look to you for if they do need a referral to somebody else or just whatever your business is.
yeah, exactly.
So in closing, marketing is just about getting attention. It really is about getting attention, adding value, and doing it. Here's the key. We'll close with this. Unless it's consistent, not marketing. Okay. You got to be 100% dogmatic consistent. It's like Grant Cardone said on his marketing mastery video series. It's like he gets his marketing team of, you know, high-priced experts in marketing. They're like, man, what do you think about this? What do you think? This didn't perform as well as the A/B test here. And he's like, yeah, do it all. Do it all. Do the one that failed and do the one that succeeded. At the end of the day, it's all marketing. So with that said, there's no bad marketing. It's all great marketing. Whether you get good attention or get bad attention, it's marketing. It gets you attention for your business. The key is the consistency of it. So with that said, have a wonderful evening, and we'll chat with you guys later.
All right.
Thanks,
See you
everyone.
guys.
Good night.